Hey you, grief is a time portal. My name is Allison and I'm a death doula, grief educator and coach, as well as an end-of-life services planner. So let's talk about why grief is a time portal. So how is grief a time portal? I'm going to relate this as a experience that I've had, 3 different experiences of death of a loved one. The first one was around the age of 12, 13 years old. And there was one day, I think it was a Sunday or Monday, where I had like this knowingness or a vision or some sort that my grandma was going to die the next day. Of course, I'm a young age. I don't really understand what this means, but I remember having the dream or vision very clearly. The next day, we get a phone call that my grandmother had died. And I loved my grandma so much. She helped care for our family when we had nothing. And so, time portal here, I had a future vision of her passing the next day. This was a healthy woman, didn't drink, smoke, nothing. Like, she was a healthy woman. The next day of her death, it seemed like life stood still. And I couldn't understand, especially at that young age, is like, why doesn't the world stop right now? I'm kind of stuck in this space of like just going through the emotions and feeling this incredibly heavy heart. The second experience I had that I think might be relatable to a good portion of people, especially right now, about 20 years ago, I lived in the panhandle of Florida. And it was Hurricane Ivan, and it totally obliterated the place around me, the places around me from the hurricane, including devastating floods. I mean, there were bodies and trees, and it was horrid. And I couldn't understand why this traumatic event for such a large group of people had happened, and yet the rest of the world seemed to just move on with the rest of the day like nothing has ever happened. And lastly, with the death of my dad, again, I kind of had a knowingness because he had been ill that soon it would happen. And so I was kind of stuck in this future state of what's going to happen, the grief I'm going to experience. And then he died. And again, it was an experience of like, why is the rest of the world moving forward, but I'm not? And yet there was also a time where I was doing all the planning and wrapping up things, and 6 months went by and I have no idea what else I did during that time. I have no idea how the rest of my life went because it was so stuck in this space. And I don't use the word stuck as a negative or derogatory sense of time, but it just felt that way. So grief is a time portal. It can be a future state. It can be a present state. It could be like, I'm stuck right here. I could also be stuck in the past a little bit too, because I'm remembering my loved one, or time just passes by so quickly you have no idea where it went. And here's the thing, all of that is okay. It is part of the journey of grief. I'm curious for you if you experienced a time portal in your grief or if you've heard of anything like that.